Welcome to Sika Stories. We're so glad you're here. If you love captivating tales and intriguing narratives, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and get ready to dive into some amazing stories. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey with Sika Stories. In today's episode, I would tell you about Asterisk. Asterisk, a night on the sea. Asterisk. Shadi Moses, a seasoned fisherman with a face weathered by years of salty winds and harsh sunlight, anchored his small boat just off the coast of a remote island. It was a night that promised a full moon, casting an eerie glow over the tranquil sea. Beside him, his wife Vivian, a woman of gentle demeanor but strong resolve, cradled their infant daughter, Lila. The night was supposed to be a serene escape, a rare moment of peace away from their bustling coastal village. Little did they know, the sea had other plans. The gentle rocking of the boat, combined with the rhythmic lapping of the waves, began to lull Shadi into a state of relaxed vigilance. He glanced over at Vivian, who hummed a soft lullaby to their daughter. Lila's tiny fingers clutched a piece of Vivian's blouse, and her eyes fluttered as she drifted off to sleep. "She's finally sleeping," Vivian whispered, her voice barely audible over the soft sounds of the sea. Shadi smiled, but his smile faded as a sudden chill swept through the air. It was an unnatural cold that seemed to creep up from the depths of the ocean, sending a shiver down his spine. "Did you feel that?" Shadi asked, his eyes narrowing as he scanned the horizon. Vivian nodded, pulling Lila closer to her chest. "I don't like this, Shadi. It feels wrong." Before Shadi could respond, the boat lurched violently. Lila stirred and began to cry, her wails piercing the night. Shadi stumbled, his hands grasping for the edge of the boat. The calm sea had transformed into a roiling mass of waves, as if the water itself had come alive with a malevolent force. "What's happening?" Vivian screamed, clutching Lila tightly. Shadi tried to steady the boat, his muscles straining against the chaotic movements of the sea. "I don't know. Hold on," he shouted, his voice barely carrying over the deafening roar of the waves. As he fought to keep the boat upright, a dark shape emerged from the depths, its massive form silhouetted against the moonlit sky. Shadi's heart pounded as he realized they were not alone. The creature, a monstrous amalgamation of seaweed and decayed flesh, rose from the water, its eyes glowing with an unholy light. Shadi's breath caught in his throat. It was like nothing he had ever seen, a nightmare given form. The creature let out a guttural roar, its voice echoing across the water, reverberating through their very bones. "Shadi, what is that?" Vivian's voice was high-pitched with terror. Lila's cries grew louder, as if she sensed the malevolent presence. "I don't know, but we need to get out of here," Shadi shouted, grabbing an oar and trying to steer the boat away from the creature. But it was too late. The beast lunged, its long, slimy tentacles wrapping around the boat with bone-crushing strength. The boat creaked and groaned under the pressure. Shadi swung the oar with all his might, striking the creature's tentacle. It recoiled, but only momentarily. With a swift, powerful movement, it slammed into the boat, sending Shadi crashing into the water. "Shadi!" Vivian screamed, her eyes wide with horror. She clung to Lila, her mind racing with fear and desperation. The boat was now adrift, tossed around like a toy in the turbulent sea. Shadi struggled to the surface, gasping for air. He saw the creature's glowing eyes fixate on him, and he knew he had to act fast. Summoning all his strength, he swam towards the boat. Just as he reached it, the creature lashed out again, its tentacles striking him across the chest and sending him sprawling back into the water. Vivian, her heart pounding, looked around frantically. She spotted a flare gun, half hidden under a pile of nets. With shaking hands, she grabbed it, aimed at the creature, and fired. The flare shot into the air, casting a bright red light over the scene. The creature let out a deafening screech, its tentacles flailing wildly as the flare's light seemed to burn it. Shadi seized the moment of distraction to clamber back into the boat. He grabbed another oar and began to row with all his might, his muscles burning with exertion. "We need to get to shore," he shouted, his voice hoarse. Vivian nodded, her face pale but determined. She held Lila close, shielding her from the sight of the monstrous creature. The boat lurched forward, propelled by Shadi's desperate rowing. The creature, still thrashing in pain from the flare, began to sink back into the depths. But Shadi knew they weren't safe yet. The sea was still a churning cauldron of waves, threatening to capsize the small boat. "Keep rowing, Shadi," Vivian urged, her eyes fixed on the distant shoreline. It seemed so far away, an impossible distance to cover in the stormy sea. But Shadi didn't stop. He couldn't stop. The thought of his family, of Vivian and Lila, gave him strength. Minutes felt like hours as Shadi fought against the relentless waves. His arms ached, his body screamed for rest, but he pushed on. Slowly, painfully, the shoreline grew closer. The creature was nowhere to be seen, but Shadi didn't dare to hope it was gone for good. Finally, with a final Herculean effort, Shadi guided the boat into the shallows. He stumbled out, collapsing onto the sandy beach. Vivian followed, holding Lila tightly. They were safe, for now. Shadi lay on the sand, his chest heaving. He looked up at the night sky, the full moon still shining down, its light now seeming more serene than ominous. He reached out and took Vivian's hand, squeezing it gently. "We made it," he whispered, his voice filled with exhaustion and relief. Vivian nodded, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you," she said, her voice trembling. "Thank you for saving us." Shadi pulled her close, wrapping his arms around her and Lila. The terror of the night would stay with them, a haunting memory of a brush with the unknown. But in that moment, all that mattered was that they were together, safe and alive. As the first light of dawn began to break over the horizon, Shadi knew they would never forget the night on the sea. The creature, whatever it was, had retreated to the depths, leaving them with a chilling reminder of the mysteries that lay beneath the waves. And though the sea would always call to him, Shadi knew he would never venture out into its dark waters without a sense of wariness, forever marked by the terror of that night. Thanks for tuning into Sika Stories. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more captivating tales. Your support helps us keep bringing these stories to life. See you in the next episode.